Imagine you're standing on a bridge of glass, not a few feet above the ground, a mile above the earth. Below you is nothing but fog and a bottomless abyss. The wind howls through the steel cables. Every step echoes beneath your feet. Then suddenly, crack! A thin fracture races across the glass. Your chest tightens. Your breathing accelerates. Your body floods with adrenaline. Most people believe the danger is the crack. But the Stoics would tell you something unsettling. The real danger is what happens next. Because the moment that crack appears, two battles begin. One is happening beneath your feet. The other is happening inside your mind. And only one of them is guaranteed to destroy you. The Stoics discovered a secret over 2,000 years ago. A mental framework so powerful that it allowed people to remain calm while facing war, betrayal, public humiliation, exile, financial ruin, and even death itself. A secret practiced by a Roman emperor sleeping beside battlefields. A secret taught by a man born into slavery. A secret so effective that modern psychology continues to rediscover pieces of it today. And before this video ends, you'll understand why the calmest person in the room is often the most powerful person in the room. Not because they control circumstances, but because circumstances no longer control them. And later, I'll show you the exact Stoic exercise that transformed fear from an enemy into a weapon. But first, we need to understand why pressure exists in the first place. Imagine a ship caught in a violent storm. The captain cannot control the wind. He cannot control the waves. He cannot control the darkness. But he can control the sails. He can control the wheel. He can control his decisions. Most people spend their lives trying to control the storm. And that's exactly why they suffer. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood this better than anyone. What's remarkable is that Epictetus wasn't born powerful. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't a king. He was a slave. Every aspect of his life could be controlled by someone else. And yet, from that position of apparent helplessness, he discovered one of the most powerful ideas in human history. He wrote, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." Simple, yet life-changing. Think about what stresses people today. The stock market, the economy, politics, traffic, the opinions of strangers, social media comments, whether a client says yes, whether a promotion arrives, whether people appreciate their efforts. Most pressure comes from attaching emotional stability to things that were never ours to control. And here's the paradox. The more desperately you chase control over uncontrollable things, the less control you have over yourself. Every angry outburst, every sleepless night, every anxiety spiral begins with the same mistake, trying to command reality instead of responding to it. The Stoic secret is not becoming emotionless. It's becoming selective. You focus all your energy on effort and release your grip on outcome. You prepare, you execute, you adapt, then you let reality decide the rest. Because pressure grows wherever control ends, but peace begins where acceptance starts. And this brings us to the first practical Stoic weapon, a technique so counterintuitive that most people reject it immediately, yet it may be the fastest way to destroy fear. Picture this. Tomorrow morning, you have the most important meeting of your career, a presentation that could change everything. Most people spend the night before doing one of two things. Either they obsess over success, or they obsess over failure. Both create anxiety. The Stoics chose a third path, Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Before entering a difficult situation, they deliberately imagined everything that could go wrong. The rejection, the embarrassment, the criticism, the failure. At first glance, this sounds insane. Why would anyone intentionally think about negative outcomes? Because fear feeds on uncertainty, and uncertainty disappears when you face it directly. Let me tell you a story. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire on earth. But his reign was anything but peaceful. Plagues swept across Rome. Entire cities suffered. Wars erupted along the empire's borders. Trusted allies betrayed him. Children he loved died young. Imagine carrying the weight of millions of lives on your shoulders. Imagine waking up every day, knowing disaster could arrive at any moment. Most people would break under that pressure. Most people would spend every day afraid of what might happen next. Yet his private journals reveal something astonishing. A man who remained remarkably composed. Why? Because he rehearsed adversity before it arrived. He expected setbacks. He anticipated obstacles. He mentally walked through worst-case scenarios. So when difficulties appeared, they felt familiar, not shocking, not overwhelming, familiar. This is where most people get trapped. They fear failure more than failure itself. They fear rejection more than rejection itself. They fear criticism more than criticism itself. The anticipation becomes worse than reality. The imagination becomes more painful than the event. And the mind creates suffering before anything has even happened. The Stoics reversed this process. They visited the fear voluntarily. They walked directly toward it. And in doing so, they removed its power. Because once you've faced the worst-case scenario in your mind, it loses its ability to surprise you. And surprise is often what creates panic. But there's an even deeper reason this works. A reason connected to how your brain interprets danger. And it's about to lead us to one of the most powerful perspective shifts ever developed. A technique Marcus Aurelius used to make entire crises feel insignificant. And once you understand it, you may never look at pressure the same way again. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a busy city. Cars honk. People rush past. Phones ring. Deadlines pile up. Problems multiply. Everything feels urgent. Everything demands your attention. Everything feels important. Now imagine rising above the street. Higher. Above the buildings. Above the city. Above the country. Above the clouds. Above the planet itself. From space, can you see your inbox? Can you see today's argument? Can you see that embarrassing mistake from 3 years ago? Can you see the thing that kept you awake last night? No, because perspective changes everything. Marcus Aurelius practiced something now called the view from above. Whenever pressure became overwhelming, he mentally zoomed out. He imagined looking down on human life from the stars. Cities became dots. Empires became temporary. Human dramas became brief flashes in time. Think about that. The most powerful man on earth, reminding himself how small he really was. Not to feel insignificant, but to feel free. Because panic thrives in narrow perspectives. The closer your face is pressed against a problem, the larger it appears, the more power it seems to have over you. But when you step back, something changes. You begin to see context. You begin to see proportion. You begin to see reality. Think about your biggest stress from 5 years ago. The thing that felt world-ending. The thing that kept you awake at night. The thing you were certain would ruin everything. How important does it feel today? Most likely, Not very. The problem didn't shrink. Time changed your perspective. The Stoics simply learned how to create that perspective immediately, without waiting years, without waiting for hindsight. And here's the hidden lesson. Pressure is often a symptom of being zoomed in too far. The closer your attention gets to a problem, the larger it appears. The farther back you step, the more manageable it becomes. When pressure rises, don't ask, "How do I make this disappear?" Ask, "Am I looking at this from the right distance?" Because sometimes the solution isn't changing the problem, it's changing the lens. And now we arrive at the most difficult Stoic principle of all, the one that separates people who merely survive adversity from those who become stronger because of it. The principle that transforms setbacks into advantages and suffering into strength. The Stoics called it amor fati. Most people tolerate hardship. Few people embrace it. The Stoics went even further. They practiced something called amor fati, love of fate, not acceptance, not endurance, love. Think about how radical that idea is. Most people spend their lives fighting reality, arguing with the past, resisting the present, fearing the future. The Stoics chose a different path. They asked, what if every obstacle had a purpose? What if every setback carried a lesson? What if the thing you're trying to avoid is the very thing capable of making you stronger? When something goes wrong, most people ask, why is this happening to me? The Stoic asks, how is this helping me? One question creates victims. The other creates growth. Imagine losing a major client. Most people see disaster. The Stoic sees information, a chance to improve, a chance to adapt, a chance to become stronger. Imagine your plans collapsing overnight. Months of effort, gone. Most people see failure. The Stoic sees training, because every obstacle develops something. Patience, discipline, courage, creativity, resilience. The obstacle becomes the gymnasium of character, and history gives us powerful examples. Marcus Aurelius faced plague. Entire regions of the empire suffered. Death surrounded him. Epictetus endured slavery. His freedom was taken. His choices were limited. His future was uncertain. Yet neither man allowed suffering to define him. Instead, they used adversity as fuel. And that's the secret. Pressure isn't merely something to survive. It's something to use. Every challenge arrives carrying a lesson. Every setback contains an opportunity. Every obstacle can become an advantage, if you're willing to see it, because life is going to test you regardless. The question is not whether challenges will come. They will. The question is whether those challenges will break you or build you, and the answer depends entirely on the meaning you assign to them, which brings us back to the glass bridge, back to the crack beneath your feet, back to the moment where everything seems uncertain. Because now, you're ready to see that moment differently. The crack is still there. The wind still howls. The drop is still terrifying. Nothing outside has changed. The danger remains. The uncertainty remains. The pressure remains. But something inside has changed. You understand what is within your control and what is not. You have prepared for adversity before it arrived. You have widened your perspective. When pressure tried to consume you, you have transformed obstacles into teachers instead of enemies. And suddenly, the crack loses its power, not because the danger disappeared, but because panic disappeared. That is the Stoic secret. Not eliminating pressure, mastering yourself within it. Because the truth is, the world will continue applying pressure. Markets will shift. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Unexpected challenges will arrive. That is guaranteed. There will be moments when life feels unfair. Moments when everything seems uncertain. Moments when the cracks appear beneath your feet. And in those moments, most people will look outward. They will blame circumstances, blame luck, blame other people. But the Stoics looked inward, not because they controlled everything, but because they understood the one thing nobody could take from them: their ability to choose their response. And that is where true freedom begins. Not in wealth, not in status, not in comfort, but in the quiet confidence that whatever happens, you can handle it. Because the strongest person is not the one who never faces pressure. The strongest person is the one who remains calm while facing it. The calmest person in the room is often the most dangerous. Not because they are fearless, but because fear no longer controls them. So the next time life places you on that glass bridge, don't focus on the crack. Focus on the architect of the mind standing above it. The person who understands that circumstances may shake the ground, but they do not have to shake the soul. And remember, the storm may shake the world, but it does not have to shake you. Fade to black. And before you leave, consider this. What pressure are you carrying right now? What fear have you been avoiding? What circumstance have you been trying to control that was never truly yours to control? The Stoics believed that wisdom begins when we stop demanding that life obey our plans and start preparing ourselves for whatever life brings. If this message resonated with you, let it stay with you today, because the next challenge is coming. The next test is coming. And when it arrives, remember the bridge, remember the crack, and remember that the strongest foundation was never beneath your feet. It was always inside your mind,